in this brief video about the Pennsylvania EITC program. This program is known as the Educational Improvement Tax Credit. It is a state-level program and not a federal program. We love it at Hershey Christian Academy because the PA-EITC program allows generous donors, whether they be individuals or businesses, to make a contribution towards Christian education. And that contribution allows them to receive up to a 90% state tax credit based on the amount they contribute in. The money then is used by the school to provide financial aid for students from families who have demonstrated financial need. So how does this program work? If you join the program, once you are officially into the program and approved, you would make your contribution as a one-time payment into the LLC that you are placed into by your EITC organization. That contribution should be 10% higher than your normal state tax liability or your expected state tax liability in Pennsylvania. If you're not sure what that is, you can look back at last year's taxes and pull your state tax form known as the PA-40. On that form, look for line 12. Line 12 is your total state tax liability. After you make your contribution towards the EITC program, you will receive a K-1 form when your important tax documents come out in February of the following year. And on this K-1, not only will it indicate the total contribution that you have made, it will also show that you receive up to 90% of that as a state tax credit. The reason it's up to 90% is some organizations grant a 90% tax credit for commitments that are 2-year commitments into the program. And if you only make a 1-year commitment, this tax credit reduces then to 70% in most cases. After you receive your K-1, you will want to make sure you turn in that K-1 along with all of your other tax documents when you file your taxes. So we do advise anyone who does choose to do the EITC program, make sure that you have your taxes done by a qualified tax professional so this credit is properly applied to your taxes. After you complete your taxes, should you have already paid into the state because your employer has taken off state taxes every pay period, then you would be expecting to receive a state refund, assuming you have paid a contribution that covers your full tax liability. How much should I contribute? Even though I already alluded to this on the prior slide, I think this is a really important question for you to consider alongside your tax preparer, because you want to make sure that you maximize this credit to your best advantage. If you can accurately estimate how much you plan to pay in state taxes for the year, you would want to increase that amount by 10%, and that total now would be the contribution you should make towards EITC. So for example, if you expect this year that you're going to owe about $1,000 in state taxes, your contribution that you make should be 10% higher than that. And that would be approximately $1,100. When you receive your K-1, it will show that you made a contribution of $1,100, and it will also indicate that you receive a state tax credit then of 90% of that amount, or approximately $1,000. Another question we receive is, what if you have a business? And in a business, oftentimes you're paying in quarterly to avoid an underpayment penalty. The program works very much the same for you. you still can join the program and make your contribution on the same timeline as a person who is a W-2 employee. And you would want to calculate making a contribution that is 10% higher than your total state tax liability if you want that credit to cover the amount of state taxes that is due to the government in full. If you don't plan to cover your state tax burden in full with that 90% state tax credit, then you would want to make sure that you're covering the additional amount that would be due to Pennsylvania in your quarterly payments. You can pay all of that up front in quarter one just to make sure that you're not going to be hit up for underpayment penalties. Just to give you a practical example, when my spouse and I joined the EITC program, we have a business and we had already paid in quarterly payments for half of that year. When we joined, we still made our contribution into the program that we expected to cover our entire Pennsylvania state tax liability. And then once our year was completed and we filed our taxes, because we had paid in already some of our quarterly payments, we had technically overpaid what's due to the state. So the state is going to be refunding us those quarterlies that we paid in that we otherwise would have had covered by the contribution made towards EITC. I know as a business, oftentimes it's hard to nail down how much you're going to owe in state taxes for that year. So you want to be careful to calculate that with your tax professional to make sure that you are sufficiently covering the amount that would be due to the state. How do I join? So if you are interested in this program, chances are you probably want to talk to someone a little further. The perfect person to do that with at HCA is Kylie Murray. She is our EITC coordinator. Or you can also talk with Kim Hampshire. Kim is our finance director and has a great understanding of this program as well. Either one of them can get into your hands the interest form or commitment form. And this form is a very basic form that just provides us with your contact information as well as the amount that you would expect to be contributing into the program. This information is helpful to us because by using that, we pair you with an EITC organization. Our school does work with 4 different EITC organizations, and each of them have different minimum contributions required to be a part of their program. We'll place you with whichever one is the best fit for you and your situation, as well as identify whether you are interested in a 1-year or a 2-year commitment. The organization then will provide us with a joinder form, and this here will get you officially into the program and place you into an LLC that will serve as a special purpose entity or SPE. This is just a group of individuals or individuals and businesses who come together that form this scholarship fund from where the financial aid will come out of for these families. So once you complete the joinder, you will receive all of that information of the name of that LLC, as well as your official approval that you have made it into that LLC, and they will indicate to you when you should be making your contribution into that program. Once you make your contribution, then you are done, and just wait for that K1 and to make sure you turn that in with your tax documents so that you can receive the tax credit, and hopefully you will not have any additional due towards the state if you calculate correctly the amount that would be owed in. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, they may be answered on our website in our Q&A responses, or you can contact Kylie Murray directly at kmurray@hersheychristianacademy.org. Thanks again, and may God bless.